Welcome back to Vocal Europe's podcast, Talking Geopolitics. In this interview, we will discuss an important challenge for the EU's foreign and security policy, namely the EU's role in the US-China rivalry. My name is Ilya Gabriels. I am a policy researcher at Vocal Europe. Today, I have the honor to welcome Patrick Nijs. Mr. Nijs is a former Belgian ambassador and Consul General to China. He has been living in China for 25 years and is now an international business consultant and founder at Kavisa Organic Farm in China. It is a great pleasure to have you here with us today. Welcome, Mr. Nijs.
Thank you. I'm happy to be there.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on today's topic. So let's dive right into it.
Yeah, good. Very well.
In the last few months, the US-China relations have further been deteriorating. Recent events such as the balloon incident and China's alleged provision of legal support to Russia for its war against Ukraine have been intensifying the US-China rivalry. This brings me to my first question. What do you think are the most significant risks and potential consequences of an escalation in these tensions?
Well, an escalation would be a catastrophe anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that many pundits are playing with Taiwan, and this is extremely dangerous. I don't think that Taiwan might become an issue, but when you look at the foreign press and the way people put it in the West, there is a kind of possible escalation to an invasion of Taiwan by China. So I don't think it's realistic, and I don't think it will happen. China has time, and I don't think they would themselves go for this escalation. So you mentioned the alleged supply of lethal weapons from China to Russia. You say alleged, and well, I don't know. You know, I'm not anymore really involved in monitoring politics. I'm focusing on environment and protection of nature. Of course, I'm still following what is happening, but I would be extremely cautious with this kind of statement. Basically, China is not happy with that war. This war is infringing its basic principles of foreign policy, which is sovereignty and respect of existing boundaries. Of course, this is related to Taiwan and Tibet, and I don't think China is really happy by the fact that Russia has violated the sovereignty of Ukraine and has gone for this invasion. So, but China doesn't want to play the game of the West, and they have their own policy, and they don't want to sever the good relations they had with Russia. They have a very long border with Russia. They have a traditional friendship, which was reestablished after the break in '64. And I don't think they are happy. They would certainly wish to go for some kind of diplomatic solution to this issue, which becomes quite difficult. And they will pursue that. They will go ahead in trying to find a kind of negotiated solution to this terrible war. So we should refrain from making caricatures about China. China is not happy with that war. They have a relationship and a good friendship with Russia, but they are not happy. And I don't think they would step in supplying critical weapons to Russia yet. They are not wishing to escalate. They want to get back to some kind of peace where they can go further with their development. Their development is still their priority, and so that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, indeed, I understand. We have, besides that, in the last few years, the EU has made an effort in the trade and backward to mediate the tensions between the two great powers, China and the US. And how effective do you consider the EU's approach towards the US-China rivalry to be? And what do you think the EU can do to enhance its mediating role?
Well, I don't really agree with this statement. I think it has been a long time that the European Union is not anymore playing a mediating role. It used to be. It used to be before maybe 2010, about 2010. But since 2010, it's not the case. That there has been a shift in the European Union policy, which is dramatic. The External Action Service came with a policy paper on China, where they have labeled China as a systemic rival in the 2010, 2013. I have not understood that. I thought this was not the right. This has been a kind of turning point in the European Union policy, where suddenly the basic standpoint went closer to the US, basically, and was not anymore wishing to play a mediating role. It's like Europe was also looking at China in a kind of confrontational way, and this is I'm very sad with that, because I have been very lucky to serve the Belgian diplomacy, and of course Belgian diplomacy is very much connected to the European Union, when at the time where there was a lot of dialogue, there was a lot of discussion, there was a lot of diplomatic talks in order to settle all the issues, which are normal between two blocks like that. But it seems that this time is gone, and I'm extremely unhappy with that. I think Europe and China, we have a very deep background, which is quite similar in the fact that we believe in the role of the state. We think that the state should not that the state should play a role in the society. We do not believe that a good society is a stateless society. We think the state has value. This is deeply in the Chinese tradition, and also in the European one. And then we have also the belief that religion and state affairs should be separated. So we have some kind of very basic principles which are common, and which should actually which should help us to get much more involved with each other than we are today. So nobody seems to really push for this in the circles which are defining the European Union foreign policy. It's a pity. It's a pity. I think that the young generation of European politician doesn't really know about China, and they have a kind of reflex, Atlantist reflex, which is actually playing a lot of role and pushing the European Union policy to the US side. So I don't see really Europe today playing a mediating role. I would wish so. I'm very I believe in a triangle world where US, Europe, and European Union and the US would play their own role. But today, I don't see that. I feel more, and I see more the European Union policy going exactly in the direction of the US. When, of course, the war doesn't help. Well, when you have a war like that, the points, the standpoints are becoming sharper, and so this is where we are. But I don't see. I would really wish Europe to play a mediating role, and I think China is expecting that. The recent declaration of Xi Jinping and the new Minister of Foreign Affairs and the previous one during the two sessions have been very clear, saying that they really want to reach out to Europe and pay a lot of attention to this relationship. I hope Europe will respond to that in a positive way instead of aligning itself strictly with the US interest, which is not, in my view, our interest. We have a tradition which is different from the US, and as I said before, leads us closer to China and much more than the present politician think and do.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for this very interesting and clarifying answer. We have also seen that the EU has been expressing its concerns regarding certain policy decisions of both the US and China in areas such as trade, security, and human rights. How might the EU balance its desire to promote global cooperation and stability with its strategic interests and priority? How do you see them balancing? See the EU balancing that?
We have always been doing that. You know, the human rights dialogue with China has been going on for a very long time, and of course we are different. Of course, we have to stand for our tradition. We have set up human rights as a pillar in our society, which is extremely valuable. But this doesn't mean that we have to antagonize China. China is different. China has another background, and I have been during the Belgian presidency involved in the human rights dialogue, and China says, "Give us time. We are not yet ready to go for the type of human rights that you're applying in Europe," and we have a different background, which makes this issue quite complicated and different from a Chinese point of view. So this is one, and then when it comes to the competition for technology, this has always been a very hot topic. China has in 40 years become one of the major power in the world, and this is something unique in the history of mankind. And China needs technology, and China has its own national interest, which is normal. You know that there are no angels and devils in international policy. You only have states and blocs which are following their national interests. So technology competition is normal between blocks like us and between the developed countries like the major EU countries and China. It's normal, and conflicts are also unavoidable.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you should not go to this problem by antagonizing again. You have to find ways to set up platforms where you can realize win-win operations, where you can have cooperation in full respect of intellectual properties. You have to improve the global framework for intellectual property. You know, all the countries, when they have made up the delay with the developed countries, they have copied. This is quite a normal process. Why would China do differently? IP is a kind of we say in French un jeu de police brigand. It's a game also, and we have to play the game. We have to let them take the technology in a certain way, and at the same time try to not to be spoiled. So we have to fight for our own interests as well. It's not easy, but antagonizing will never help. And there are situations where you have this kind of win-win, and this is what we need. What we need to develop, and I don't see this happening a lot today. I hear a lot of blame against China, a lot, and only blames, and I don't really hear any kind of proposal to find win-win solutions.
Yes.
We have to do that. We have to do that. There is no other way to solve this. And so, as I said, I think try to set up a global framework for the handling of intellectual property. This is going on. A lot of initiatives are taken to do this, and this goes in the right direction. And then we do this with the European Union Joint Innovation Center. We try to be the guardian of the relationship in order to avoid that one would take everything and make sure that we can set up situations where you have win-wins. China is a huge market. Most of our companies can benefit from this market, and IP is getting more and more an issue in China as well. Big companies in China have also their own IPs that they want to protect. So let's move into this direction and do not antagonize. There are no angels and no devils. European Union is no devil, as so no angel, and China as well. So today there is a kind of a tendency in Europe to do China bashing. I don't know how it comes. You know, it may come through the manipulation of the social networks. It comes also a lot from certain political factions in Europe, which are actually bringing everything to human rights, and that's it. They don't go beyond human rights, and they, for them in that respect, China is not a possible partner, since they have decided once for all that China was systematically infringing human rights. I think the most important issue we have today is related to what will happen with our planet. If we go the way we go, we have no future. No one. EU has no future. China has no future. And I think this is much more important today to find platforms to cooperate in tackling together these issues in order to mitigate our extinction, than to get mad systematically on this issue of human rights. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. Thank you. Moving on to the concept of interpolarity, our world has become more and more interconnected, and the concept of interpolarity, being a mix between interdependence and multipolarity, has been introduced as a more nuanced way of understanding the current international order. How important do you think this idea of interpolarity is in addressing the tensions between the US and China?
Well, I was very interested to see this. We have been very much acting to set up a multipolar world, and I think this concept is quite interesting. But this is not the way we go today. We go to a bipolarization, which is China and US, and where European Union really doesn't play any role. It's like we are just an annex of the US policy. I see no the goal in Europe today. I see no one who really stands for setting up the pole of the European Union in this respect. So I'm afraid Europe will be the big loser of this terrible war. And I don't see any sign of having a kind of European Union standing by itself and having its own policy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pity.
Yes. Thank you for your interesting answer. We've talked about mediating before, and the UN is often seen as a key forum for promoting dialogue and cooperation between states. How can the EU promote its interests within the UN system and help to strengthen multilateralism? And what specific steps could be taken in order to achieve this goal?
Well, climate, I think the UN today have set up a platform where the whole world can deal with this climate change issue. These COP exercises are very interesting, and I think we need to make it stronger and have more commitments also. We have to understand also that China will never. This is part of the tradition here. China will never say, "I'm taking a decision because a UN decision." China will always want to stand as if they take their own decision and they take it by themselves in a sovereign way, even if they are basically, following the UN agenda, which is fine. I mean, it's a kind of game which we have to understand, and which doesn't make the UN useless. The UN is really an interesting platform. It's a unique platform when it comes to mitigating the climate change and the biodiversity. And I think in that respect, we have to do all what we can to make it stronger and stronger. And then the European Union can play a very important role in that, because we are in many ways the leader in this kind of issues. We have started to address them and to think about them in the 70s, way before the others. And we have taken measures in order to change. We are not yet there, and there is still a lot to do. But meanwhile, we are moving, and we have a lot of software in this kind of basic issues that can be very useful for China. China has moved greener in a very amazing way since basically the 13 economic plan, and it's getting clearer and clearer. Even the 2 sessions and have also made it very clear that China is going green, and it has the ability to take the decisions and to move, but it needs software, it needs expertise, it needs knowledge, and we have it in Europe. So I think it's a very interesting subject for us to cooperate, and I think that the UN is also a very interesting platform to do that.
Yes. I'm sure this will provide us with food for thought. With this question, we've also come to the end of our interview. Thank you so much, Mr. Nijs, for being here with us today and sharing your insights on the EU's role in the US-China rivalry.
My pleasure. I'm very happy to do this. I'm very concerned about what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have devoted not all, but a big part of my life to this relationship between the European Union and China, and I'm still there, and I'm still there because I believe in the future of this country very much, and I'm very sad and unhappy with what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we have been there. It's a pity. Whatever we can do to reestablish a kind of strategic partnership with China would be welcome. And I hope that the present politicians, which are doing their job and leading Europe, will go that way and understand that our interest is to cooperate, to engage with China, not to antagonize China.
Yes. Thank you very much for your views on this topic. As a reminder, this interview will also be published on all of Local Europe's social media platforms and on the website as well. Thank you again, Mr. Nijs, for being here with us today. It was very interesting to hear what you had to say. I'm sorry.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yeah. Goodbye. Goodbye.